It was meant to be a polished rollout, a lifestyle brand launch that would cement Meghan Markle's standing as a visionary entrepreneur. But what unfolded was a chaotic cocktail of mockery, mistrust, and a truth bomb dropped by none other than Tyler Perry himself. During a candid moment behind the scenes of a recent Hollywood gathering, Perry, once Meghan's staunchest ally, reportedly broke his silence about the Duchess's newest venture, suggesting her as ever. Wine launch was less about empowerment and more about manipulation. The revelation sent shockwaves through elite circles as it corroborated what critics and insiders have quietly whispered for months. Meghan's wine brand is less an authentic venture and more a performative PR stunt engineered to salvage her waning influence. According to Perry, who famously offered Meghan and Prince Harry refuge in his Los Angeles mansion during their royal fallout, he had been approached early on to consult on the wine brand's rollout. It was never about the wine, he reportedly confided to a small group. It was about the image. She wanted a product she could stand behind, or at least appear to, without ever having to get her hands dirty. Those words echo louder now as public scrutiny intensifies over how disconnected Meghan seemed from the actual production process. Multiple reports from Sonoma-based wineries indicate she had little to no involvement in the development, bottling, or even tasting stages. One staffer, under anonymity, claimed, "We were told to make it look like Meghan curated every detail. Truth is, we barely saw her." Enter Colin Jost. The Saturday Night Live comedian took the moment to the stage in classic fashion, roasting the As Ever brand with razor-sharp sarcasm. It's called As Ever probably because that's how often Meghan's ever been seen near a vineyard, never. The live audience erupted and the internet followed suit. Within hours, memes flooded X and Instagram, portraying Meghan in designer boots stomping unripe grapes or posing beside plastic vines. The damage was done. Meghan's team responded with deafening silence, but insiders suggest she was furious, especially with Perry's unexpected disclosure and the public's brutal reaction to Jost's takedown. The embarrassment is particularly potent considering the way the wine was marketed. Promotional materials boasted about soulful sustainability, female-led craftsmanship, and personal tasting sessions by the Duchess herself. But leaked emails from the marketing team tell a different story, one in which Meghan's involvement was more about branding aesthetics than actual product quality. An email from an executive at the marketing firm reads, "We need a photo of her holding the bottle, ideally barefoot in the vineyard. Something rustic. Doesn't matter if it's staged. It just needs to feel real." And then there's the question of timing. Meghan's wine release came suspiciously close to the anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's passing, a move some in the royal commentary sphere have described as tactless at best, calculated at worst. Royal historian Caroline Frost told GB News it felt deliberately timed to redirect the public narrative. But instead of reverence, she uncorked ridicule. Even more damning is the financial entanglement revealed by Perry's comments. Insiders now allege that Meghan was in quiet talks with private investors in late 2023, pitching As Ever not as a passion project but as a stepping stone into the world of high-profit brand licensing. The wine was just phase one, said one source. She wanted scented candles, cookbooks, and even her own line of signature picnic baskets. It was never about wine, it was about empire. Perry's subtle distancing from the project now seems intentional, a move to protect his own brand from becoming collateral damage in what is quickly becoming one of Meghan's most poorly received ventures. The irony, of course, lies in Meghan's repeated insistence on authenticity and connection. Yet, time and time again, her projects appear hollow beneath the glitter. From the Archetypes podcast reportedly shelved amid creative clashes to the Netflix docuseries filled with questionable claims, a pattern is beginning to emerge, polished launches followed by public disillusionment. As Ever is simply the latest bottle of branded fantasy, corked tight with contradiction. In the fallout, questions are also being raised about Prince Harry's role. While he's made few public comments, sources close to the couple suggest he urged Meghan to delay the release, warning it might be perceived as tone-deaf. His advice, it seems, was ignored. Now, with Tyler Perry stepping back and public sentiment swinging hard against the Duchess, the couple's once golden narrative is beginning to sour, much like a poorly aged Chardonnay. As Meghan scrambles to reframe the debacle, perhaps with a carefully curated podcast appearance or a last-minute charity bottle donation drive, the public is no longer buying the narrative. Because in today's world, you can't pour PR into a glass and call it purpose. And no matter how elegant the label or royal the name, bad wine and worse branding always leave a bitter aftertaste. And that bitter aftertaste is now lingering across headlines, Hollywood circles, and royal watchers alike. Meghan's attempt to rebrand herself as a savvy lifestyle entrepreneur has not only fizzled, it's backfired. What was meant to be an elegant evolution from duchess to domestic tastemaker has instead revealed the very critique she's spent years trying to outrun, a carefully crafted persona driven more by optics than authenticity. Worse still, insiders now suggest that Meghan is scrambling behind closed doors, pushing her PR team into overdrive to spin the story. Plans for a follow-up behind-the-scenes documentary on the making of As Ever, originally slated for late summer, are reportedly being reevaluated due to backlash. The public doesn't want to see another glossy montage of Meghan pretending to swirl wine and laugh at nothing, said a former streaming executive. They want substance. And they're not getting it. Even loyal followers are beginning to question her intentions. Online forums that once praised her resilience are now filled with disillusioned voices wondering whether the Duchess is truly committed to anything beyond the mirror. If this was her comeback, it landed like a Ms. poured Merlot, all show, no soul. And for Meghan, that may be the hardest glass to swallow yet.